Here is a map of how Noah's sons and their families eventually dispersed across the known world. Depending on where your ancestors are from, you can get a general idea of which son of Noah you descended from. As you may know, God gave Noah a sign in the sky as a reminder that he will never forget his promise to offer grace to mankind rather than to destroy every living thing by flood. What was that sign? It was the rainbow. While we see rainbows like this most of the time, when you fly above a rainbow in an airplane, you might see a rainbow as it really is. It's a circle and has no end, just like God's grace and his promise have no end. I find it so disturbing that it's almost comical that the rainbow is the choice of symbol for the LGBTQ community. What was the original sin in the garden? It was their pride. What was Satan's sin that got him cast out of heaven? It was his pride. What was the symbol of God's grace and promise never to destroy the earth with a flood again because of that sin that began with pride? The rainbow. Pride is the root of all sin. Our pride that whispers to us that we can be like God. We can be God. What does the LGBTQ community choose to represent themselves? A rainbow and the slogan, pride. Has sin changed at all? Nope, sadly, it has not. This video is a recreation of what the day of the flood might have been like from the organization Answers in Genesis. Before we watch this little snippet, why did God decide to destroy mankind except for Noah and his family? Because of sin. Why did Noah and his family get to be saved on the ark? Because Noah found grace in God's eyes. Here's a quick timeline I made for a class I taught a few years ago, and this is a timeline of the flood and what happened. We see it starts when Noah is about 480 years old, when God tells him in chapter 6, verse 14, to make an ark. In chapter 6, verse 18, he gets the covenant or the promise of God's protection. In verses 14 through chapter 7, verse 5 are the instructions for how to build the ark. And then in chapter 7, Noah and his family and animals enter the ark. They wait on the ark for 7 days, and then the flood begins. In the second month, the 17th day of Noah's 600th year, 40 days and nights of rain and water covers all the land. All the air-breathing animals and creatures, mankind, all die. The 40 days and nights end, and the water had risen to about 29,000 feet. And then a great wind dries the land. The storm is over, and the waters begin to calm. And Noah's ark comes to rest on Mount Ararat. The water recedes, and Noah sends out a raven and a dove. One returns empty, and he sends out the other, and it returns with an olive branch. And then another dove does not return at all, indicating land has been found. Noah looks out, and he sees land, and on the 2nd month, the 27th day, in his 601st year, Noah is able to leave the ark. Noah then worships, and God provides a new covenant of the rainbow. To this day, the offering of the olive branch to someone symbolizes making peace or the calm after the storm because of the dove that brought an olive branch back.